Well, hello and welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis, Too Tall and Huff. Folks, you know your boy is always fired up and ready to bring you that fuego in your day, in your months, in your future days, in every single moment that you have actually is a blessing, guys. But today, I think you're gonna think about the way that you not only scale your business, but the way that you can add a personal touch to your sales customers, to your transactions, to the people in your life. And I'm bringing you Mr. David Wachs. David, are you ready to be real?
Travis, I am thrilled to be here, buddy. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely, my man. A serial entrepreneur, and currently we talked about Handwrytten, which is bringing back the letter of the lost art, guys, of letter writing.
That's right.
At scale, using robots, using technology, and working with, obviously in more and more big companies to help, add this personal touch. But then before that, he even had a previous business, a mobile marketing business with Cellit, and a mobile agency as well, guys. So he understands the world of entrepreneurship and business, and literally at the end of the day, guys, is working every single day in his business, and most importantly, man, you're having some major success, man. So tell me, when you were a kid, did you always just have multiple businesses? Did you always just were on the grind and selling things? And
Yeah, man, always. When I was 4 or 5 years old, I used to take my brother's wagon out, like his little red wagon, and I'd fill it up with whatever my mom would buy at Costco. Well, back then it was called Price Club.
Right. I remember Price Club.
Yeah, so I would take out, she would go to the store and buy like licorice, and then I'd take it, I'd shove it in the wagon, then go door to door selling the licorice, and she got kind of upset at that. But I would do that, and then one day there was nothing to sell, so I just took the cart out, the wagon out, went door to door with the first aid kit in the back. And, here I am, this little 4-year-old, and I'd knock on your door and you'd answer the door. Can I help you? And I'd say, are there any emergencies going on right now? And they'd say, no. And I'd say, okay, well, I'll try back later. And so, yeah, that was Red Wagon. And now actually at Handwrytten, we don't want anybody to know. We don't want to give away the secret sauce. If somebody wants to use our service and they don't want anybody to know they're using us and not writing it themselves, and I'll get into what we do later, but the cards are called, when you flip it over where it should say Hallmark, it says Red Wagon for that reason.
Nice. Yeah. So you've kept that childhood, if you want to call it vision or sentiment or soul. Your soul, man. Your soul is the Red Wagon, baby.
Exactly. Yep. So
that's very cool, dude. So you were literally obviously in a prior business. Did you have an exit to that business? You decided just to move into this business? How did that move into?
Yeah, so I actually started the last company back in 2004. We were a big player in the text messaging space. We started with real estate, and actually one of your prior guests, Kim Addis, was an early investor in the company. And we would text for info on houses. So you would text in, get information on a house, and then the realtor would get a lead. And but we quickly kind of pivoted. We got out of real estate. I didn't have the patience to deal with realtors, to be quite frank. And we got into other industries. So we would do like Abercrombie and Fitch and Toys R Us and big retailers. That type of thing. And then after 8 years of doing that, I sold that company to a marketing firm out of Detroit, and then worked for them for 2 years, and then left. And the day after I left, I started Handwrytten.
Wow! So that whole time, I'm guessing you were thinking, "What's next?" Maybe.
Yeah. So basically,
in a way,
what it was, a lot changed over that 12-year period, or 10-year period. A lot changed over that 10-year period. When we started in the text messaging space, you weren't inundated with texts, every day. But as things progressed, you got inundated with text, inundated with emails, push notifications, Twitter tweets, that now Slack and all this other stuff. So I thought, gee, I was part of the problem at Cellit. We were pushing more and more messages down your throat. And, now the average person gets like 140 emails a day, and
wow,
crazy amounts of all this digital stuff. So I thought, what could we do to really allow that person to cut through the clutter? And when I'd walk around and I'd talk to people, I'd see handwritten notes on their desks. I'd see handwritten notes stuck to the refrigerator, all that stuff. I thought, gee, well, we should be sending out handwritten notes. But the problem with sending a handwritten note is you got to sit down and write it. And when I sold the company, I wanted to send handwritten notes to all my clients and my employees and all that stuff. And quickly my hand cramped up.
I can only imagine.
I ran out of stationery, didn't have enough stamps. And, you know, I just like, screw this, I don't have the time. So what can we do to make sending handwritten notes as easy as sending an email, or easier? And that's where Handwrytten came from. And basically what it is, it's a software platform. You go on there, use our iPhone app, Android app. I don't know if you know about Zapier. You know.
Oh yeah, I love
Yeah.
Zapier.
Yeah, Zapier. If I didn't work for Handwrytten, I'd want to work for Zapier. But you can send Zaps in. So for those that don't know what it is, what Zapier is, it's a way to connect pretty much any tool you use to any other tool you use. So
Right.
if you have a CRM system or an e-com platform or whatever, and you want to automate something, you go to Zapier, and it's way easier than you'd ever think. It's just point and click. There's a couple other platforms too, like Integromat and SyncSpider and all these other platforms, but Zapier is kind of the big one,
The leader.
So so you have all these ways of getting these handwritten note content to us, and then what we do is we say, okay, we'll have the robots write it, and we have 115 robots in our facility here in Phoenix.
Wow.
We build these robots ourselves. They're patent pending. They're laser cut and 3D printed, and it's quite the operation here. If you have any listeners in Arizona, they can come on and see it when COVID's not going on. And then we write out the note, we write out the envelope, we put a real stamp on it. If you want to include a gift card or like a Starbucks card, anything like that, you can do that. And then we mail it within 1 business day.
Wow.
So we take the whole process from end to end and automate it, get it off your plate, and these notes get noticed and acted on. For sure.
There's something that stands out, because obviously we know we've all gotten the handwritten note that's like pre-printed, you know. Yep. Remember, like, you've all gotten that before. So this is the real one that makes you feel like you really got a official note from somebody. And they obviously did have to write this to you, right? So they had to write the content for you to then, you can't just go write notes for people randomly, but they give you the context and the conversation to put into it. So did you, when you originally thought of this business, did you think, I'm going to hire people to write these notes, or did you originally think these are going to be done by robots?
No, I knew they'd be done by robots. And to your point, they are written in pen. We actually use the Pilot G2 ballpoint pen. You can pick them up at.
Oh, I love the G2. I love the G2.
Gel point, you know. So anyway, so I always knew it had to be done by a robot for a couple of reasons. Number one, you can work them 24 hours a day. Number two, the risk disappears because you won't have somebody go rogue and write, you know, FU customer instead of
right.
Number three, there's some consistency there. You don't want it overly consistent, but at least you want it in a handwriting style you chose, you know, something like that. So I always knew we had to use robots. And excuse me, to start, we were using an off-the-shelf system out of Virginia to write these notes. But the problem with those machines is they don't scale. So if you have 2 of them, maybe you could get them to work. But if you need a lot of them, you know, they'll run out of ink and keep writing. You need a laptop computer to power pretty much every pod of 8 of them. And we have 115. I don't want to have laptops.
We have laptops everywhere.
The writing didn't look that real. So there were all these reasons, like the machines would write on themselves. They just weren't great machines. Sorry, company who's still around, but they're not. So I thought we have to do it better. We have to make a more realistic writing robot. And that's what we did. We incorporate the best of font technology, which means like ligatures, kerning, all these things. So what do I mean by ligatures? Well, you put 2 O's together, they look different than 2 O's separate. 2 T's get crossed by 1 crossbar, all that type of stuff. Then we add randomization to that. Kernings, the letters connect tightly. It's not like a typewriter, which is kind of how the robot looked. We do all this stuff, but we can't actually use fonts because a font, I don't want to get too deep into the details, but a font is like an outline. So if you see a T, it's not a line across and a line down. It's a line all the way around that T is an outline, and then it gets filled in. So if we were to send fonts to our robot, you'd end up with bubble text, like a bunch of bubbles. So we had to come up with our own system. In addition to all the hardware, building robots and all this other stuff, we had to come up with our own font system.
Wow.
And so there's just a S-ton of technology into our company here. And all this is why we're the world leading provider of handwritten notes.
It's amazing, dude. And I think you have something, even to the patents and all that stuff too, as well. I mean, just the robots, you know, to sell to other companies, you know, sell the robots to other companies, maybe at some point, you know, you never know.
Down the road for sure.
Once you figure, you know, have figured your own business and feel comfortable releasing that out there, I think they can only help. But there's something to that, man. And most importantly, obviously, the reason why you are the global leader is that people like the service. It's dependable. It's reliable. They can count on you. What types of businesses? Yeah, it's real. It's real. Let's be on the Be Real show. It's real. It's a real thing that shows up at your door here. Do you like, what kind of customers do you tend to like really synergize with? The ones you really love working with?
Dude, it's all over the map. So we work with realtors, mortgage brokers, all the way up. We work with companies that, and this is kind of crazy, companies that manage end of life for your pet. So when your dog dies, you'll get a handwritten note from us.
Oh, wow.
We do a lot of those notes.
Wow.
Multiple companies. We work with large sales organizations that sell solar panels. You know, some of these integrations we have, we plug in directly to salesforce.com. So if you have Salesforce, we can be an option within salesforce.com, like send a handwritten note to this contact.
Got you.
Get forwarded back to Salesforce. So we have some really big sales organizations using us. And then all the way up to like luxury purse makers and mattress manufacturers, meal boxes. It literally runs the gamut. I mean, we're doing on average about 5,000 to 6,000 notes a day. So it's all over the place as far as who those notes go out to.
So 150,000 minimum notes a month.
Yeah.
Wow, baby. Those things are writing. So is there a process for the robot once it's done writing to then switch to the next one?
Yeah. So great question, man. So when we started this business back in 14, there was a competitor of ours called Bond, and we came out with this idea. And then when you know it, another competitor comes around, and they did it actually before us because I was locked into a thing with my prior company. So anyway, so they basically just took a pen and put it in a 3D printer. And what a 3D printer does is it goes up, down, left, and right because it's got to squirt that plastic up, down, left, and right. That works great. You could kind of write with it. It comes out kind of squiggly due to inertial mass and all sorts of geeky stuff, but it can kind of write. The problem is a 3D printer doesn't have a paper feed. So then you have to like take that page off.
Manually check it.
Like it's a Gutenberg press. So you have this robot and then you're feeding it like it's 1600, right?
Right.
So what we did is we spent a lot of time building a paper feeding system, conveyor belts, and you know, all these crazy rollers,
like flows and stuff, so that when it gets done, it goes to this step. And
exactly. And then on top of that, we're actually building computer vision learning models currently. So what it'll do is we know exactly the vector it writes out on that page. So we know the shape of all the letters and how it's supposed to be. And then we're actually using computer vision to compare that to what actually was written so that we can spit out the bad quality of shirt, you know. So there's a whole machine learning aspect to this, which is kind of nutty.
That's awesome.
But yeah, man, there's technology from start to finish. It's crazy how much technology goes into a handwritten note. But when you're doing like
at scale,
150,000 of these a month, there has to be.
It's impossible to do any other way.
Yeah.
It's impossible to do it any other way at scale with the price point that you guys have.
Exactly.
Shipped to the person at the price point that you guys have. I could see tons of businesses, more and more. Every business basically is somewhat qualified for this. I mean, if you're selling a product of a value of $100 or more, or $1,000 or more, and you want to keep that customer, or even just send those personal notes. I could even see just to family and friends that you just, you know, maybe you don't have great handwriting. Maybe you know, a lot of times. I know that's one of the biggest things you hear. I don't really want to write because I don't have good handwriting. You know, and so I could see that'd be another just big benefit.
Yeah, we have one client, they're a piano tuner. Like they're, you know, small business. I don't know, there's maybe 3 or 4 of them. And they go in your house once a year, they tune your piano, and then there's a Zap set up that automatically sends that person a thank you note for letting you tune their piano. Then they're in your house a year later, and that handwritten note is still sitting on the piano. Like, wow. What other communication? Are you going to print out an email and stick it to the piano? Are you going to take a screenshot of the text message and stick it to the piano?
Right.
But that handwritten note is sitting there reminding them
the next time.
Call next year. over and over again.
So smart. So it doesn't even matter if you're even a big business, guys. This is just a great, even if you're like in that reminder based business, like you said, whether you're maybe an air conditioning guy
Yes,
and,
yes.
or, you know, something related to the house or something like that, you know, these nice little personal touches, or for sure, if you're selling houses, guys, and you're not giving that personal touch, you're missing the boat, obviously. I could see obviously all the new home builders and all these things that are going on with that. I mean, I can only imagine. Where does this take off even further? Is there other things that we can write? Is there beyond notes? Are there other things we can write? Can we write documents? Can we write a love letter? Can we, what other things can we write with this stuff?
So, well, we do just a ton of thank you notes and then birthday and all that stuff. Where we're taking it is to fulfillment. So
Gotcha.
you're an author and you want to send out 10,000 copies of your book and have every book autographed by you with Travis, thanks for having me on your show. Here's a copy of my book.
Yes.
You know, if you want to do something like that, we're doing fulfillment for those types of things. We don't do any like perishable fulfillment. So like we won't send chocolates or anything like that. But if you have a stack of books or magnets or pens or whatever, we could always do that. We're also going into distribution centers now. So we're partnering with logistics companies so that they can offer our service, but it's kind of like, we're not selling them our robots. We're just going to open up a little handwritten office in there.
So
that's
interesting.
And that's kind of our path to multinational. Like right now we ship a lot to Canada and stuff like that, but we're going to be taking that to actually open up offices around the globe.
Different languages and having them in different hubs and in the different areas, obviously.
Yeah.
What a cool thing, man. Who would have thought that they could have gone to where it's at today?
Yeah. You know, I think, you know, we're currently the global leader in this, but that's not saying much, to be honest. I mean, we're so small in to what we could be.
To like the personalization and like the gift market and things like that. Are you talking about as far as that as the overall market?
Oh yeah. I mean, just the amount of handwritten notes that not from us, but just in general that are out there, and how many of those can be replaced, or how many, like, you work at Macy's or something and you're supposed to send a thank you note to your big clients, but you don't have the time because you're so busy restocking the shelves or whatever, dealing with another customer. Those companies could use us to ensure compliance, because then all they do is when an order goes through, they include their name on the order and boom, the system generates the handwritten note. So the insurance of compliance there, like those opportunities for us are huge. We're going into car dealerships right now.
Oh, yes.
You know, just like when you buy a car, when you
service for service,
when it's time for service, like all those opportunities, all those touch points. I mean, we're just scratching the surface here. So I think there's a lot of room for this. And you know, for our customers, it's easy to get started because it starts at $3.25. And then obviously, you know, you can get discounts on that in volume, or if you subscribe for a subscription plan, there's a million ways to cut costs there. But, you know, it's not, I don't want to be an infomercial. What I want to sell everybody on is the power of a handwritten note, not the power of our service. But if you want to use our service, we're there, we're cheap, we're going to cost you no more than going to the store and buying a card yourself.
I love that. And saving the time. And like I said, you know, if you don't have great handwriting, and with the zaps and the recipes you can bake up in there, baby, we could get some things going, baby. We could, you know, it's real easy, guys. You can make it real easy to do these things in your lives. And you set up these you know, recipes, I want to call them. And, you know, once you get them going, it's all, they're all working together. You know, this system's working with this system, and hey, I want to send someone a little note, boom. Okay. No problem. Or set it up automatically. If it's a certain customer I've met certain amount of times or had certain amount of touch points with, send them a personal note. And I definitely see it in the automotive service too, man, with the appointment reminders and with people even coming into the dealership and then never coming back, and, you know, the follow-up and things like that, how much is left on the table and follow-ups, and that could be a big one in every sales business, you know, and because most people they probably don't send those personal messages out, and they probably try to blanket, you know, combat, you know, follow back on email or something like that. And then people avoid that kind of stuff. It's just easily avoidable, I would like to say.
And, you know, with auto dealers, it's crazy, man. When you do anything in an auto dealer, they just spray your data everywhere. It's crazy.
Right.
So for them to spray their data, to direct that hose at us, and then we just take it from there. We're doing that where, like, these auto sales reps, they don't even know that they're sending handwritten notes out, saying, hey, thanks for coming in for your test drive. It's just totally automatic, and it's just through this fire hose.
Yeah.
It's really crazy. Automotive is a really interesting vertical from that perspective. We have a client. I was just talking to them yesterday because they're doing a big integration with us right now. They do furniture, like you buy the furniture online and then
Got you.
box up, ship it to you. They send handwritten notes out. They had a woman call in tears.
Wow.
Like so happy she got this handwritten note because, right now we're living in crazy times, with COVID.
Yeah,
and
of course.
So many people are alone and they don't feel like anybody gives a shit about them.
Right.
And for you to take 2 seconds and write them a real handwritten note or send them a handwritten note, whatever, you'd be surprised what a difference it makes because nobody's doing it. Nobody's doing it.
So true. It's so true, especially like you said, what we've all gone through. It's just that next level of getting back to normal and all these things we look forward to. And this is a great way of doing it because it's at scale and you don't have to necessarily be bogged down by it all.
Yeah.
I love this, dude. Incredible business. But now, my man, we're about to take you into our top 10. Are you ready?
I am, man. Bring it on.
Let's go. Apple or Android?
Apple. Security, dude.
Security. The sandbox, baby.
Terrible on Android.
Netflix or YouTube?
I'm big into YouTube TV. I've given up cable on the cord.
Nice. YouTube TV.
YouTube TV. It replaces cable. So yeah, but Netflix, I guess, overall.
Netflix has got so much damn content. It's unbelievable. Instagram or Facebook if you're looking at social media? Or LinkedIn. That's another one we're throwing out as well.
Yeah, LinkedIn, I think, has turned into just a garbage dump.
It's become more spam central over there these days.
God, it's gone off the rails. I would have to say Instagram because I get less political crap on Instagram.
Right. More of the videos and pictures, less of the shareable content and stuff that's like random content, photos and articles of random stuff you don't care about. Chicken or steak if you're thinking about a good meal? Steak, baby. Let's get it. Laptop or smartphone?
Probably laptop.
Yeah.
I'm a geek and I have to get on like computer terminal, like SSH, like geeky stuff.
Too much, and the power of the desktop or the laptop still comps or trumps everything.
Yeah. That said, man, I'm tapping away notes all hours of the day these days on my phone. So
it is amazing.
Stupid battery pack Apple thing they sell you to actually get some battery here, and now my phone weighs 27 pounds.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Lock down your whole phone. That's so true.
Yeah, it's so heavy.
One day the battery, they say they're going to make it so it never has to charge. You'll just get the battery and then it'll just never charge. That'll be it. It could happen. It's just like anything.
Apple wants to make cars and I'm laughing at that, man. I don't want my car to drive like 50 miles the first week, 20 miles the second week, 10 miles, then 3 miles, and that's all you can go on it. You know what I mean?
You're slowly decreasing my battery life so that you can get me into the new upgrade.
Right, exactly.
Spotify or Pandora if you're thinking about music?
I have to say Pandora.
Pandora, the OG. I like it. I like it. Movies or video games?
I'd have to go video games, but I haven't played in a long time, man. But Witcher 3 is my jam.
Oh, Witcher 3. Why not the video games now? Just business, life takes too much.
Kids.
Right.
Kids have taken over. Witcher 3 and Red Dead 2.
Oh, nice.
Red Dead is that's a good game.
I've heard good things about that one as a up and coming game developer too. Reading books or listening to books?
Reading books.
Get the physical book in your hand, guys.
Yeah.
Stocks or real estate if you're thinking about a different type of investment?
Both.
Both, baby.
I'm into both right now.
Of course, dude. Stay diverse. If you can, be diverse.
Man.
Get a little slice of everything. Oceans or lakes if you're thinking about a vacation right now. You're gonna take the fam.
Baby.
What ocean are we gonna go to right now? We're getting the fam on a plane right now. We're out here. We're done.
Well, it would be like the Gulf or something, or like something where the water's blue.
Yeah, where that crystal blue.
But I'd like to throw a third thing in there, which is forest. Like we go up.
Oh, nice.
We go up to the mountains and just look at the beautiful pine trees up there. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What forest do you guys get to go out to locally?
Coconino, which is up in Flag, so it's 2 hours away. That's why we go, because it's so close.
My grandparents used to have they used to have two little cabins up there in Flagstaff. They ended up selling them a few years ago just because they got older, but beautiful. I remember childhood being up there. We'd go try to find gold, and we'd just be having a blast up in there in the Flagstaff Mountains.
I don't think Arizona has tall pine trees, but we sure do.
Sure as hell do. Sure as hell. And that area is just grown in Flagstaff as far as the development. Since I was a kid, I went out there a few years ago. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, they probably sold those properties for a pretty penny.
They did pretty well. They did pretty well compared to when they got them. And I'm sure the people even that bought it probably did well too, just because the whole thing's gone up. When you're waking up in the morning, David, you're getting yourself ready for the day. Why do you love being you?
I love watching people grow and love their jobs here at Handwrytten. So this happened at my last company, and it's happening here where I see these little, straight out of schoolers or people still in school, continuing ed, working at Handwrytten, and we changed their lives. We have people here Handwrytten that are envelope stuffers. So, these are not educated jobs. These are jobs where, you can do it without a high school degree even.
Right.
And we've taken people out of poverty. And for me, that's the coolest thing, and sharing that wealth, and helping people kind of see a better path forward it's awesome.
You're going to be everywhere, bro. You're going to be in every country, every job role. There's a person that needs to fill it and is willing to fill it, and their life will be changed by that role. And you're absolutely right, dude. Isn't that's one of the coolest things about entrepreneurship, I think, is that you get to not only help customers and provide obviously all the things you're doing in your business, but then at the end of the day, you get to see your team and look back and say, I did that, man. If it wasn't for me, I'm helping, and they're helping me, obviously, because you can't win together. You have to be all on the same team, guys, to win.
Absolutely, man. I had a kid who worked for me at my last company. His name's Steve, and he was a business analyst type account manager over there. And COVID hit here, and so I hadn't talked to him in years because I had sold that company back in 14 or left that company in 14. COVID hit, and I sent out, I had a very tearful Zoom session with my team, basically saying we're going to have to furlough people, close up shop for a few weeks until we can figure all this out. And just that day, Steve reaches out to me on LinkedIn just to tell me, thank you for changing his life, for giving him a direction. He was a smart kid, went to college, all that, whatever. He was going to be a success anyway, but for giving him that direction and for him finding his passion. And man, I just busted up. I mean, it was the right message at the right time. And, that's what I am to do is, help, obviously I want to make money in the process, but helping other people find their path it's cool. And I'm sure you're doing that at your firm, man.
We're trying, man. We're trying every day, baby. That's what it's all about, man. It's truly the blessing, man. It is, I think about it all the time. Like, that's the coolest thing is, and you got other entrepreneurs out there trying to start another business and help people out. And, and maybe it's you guys listening today that you guys are inspired by what my man David's done in his journey. And now you're going to get going on your red wagon, and we're going to get going and building some ships, baby. Do you have a routine to start your day? Do you have something do you have a routine in days? I know it's hard as a parent sometimes.
Dude. So, this is I've never talked about this. I kind of have a yogi in my life.
Oh, nice.
He's a hypnotist, and he's totally changed my life. And
wow.
Yeah. I started this in Chicago. And so recently I went back to him. Now it's all over Zoom and stuff like that. But and then he records the sessions, and you get programmed at night in your sleep by listening to these things. But one of his things is meditation. And I can't meditate at home because the kids are crawling all over me and all that stuff.
Right.
So, I wake up 5 a.m. with the kids, hit that Peloton, get some exercise in, see the kids, get to the office early, hide in my office on the floor of my office behind my desk, and I meditate for 20 minutes.
Wow, dude.
Yep.
That's a vulnerable conversation we're getting, guys. That's the real talk. That's cool.
Man, Soham is the mantra, but so I sit back there, and some of my employees now know what I'm up to. Others probably like, what the hell is the crazy boss doing?
Boss is doing some Kama
why do
Sutra
I
back
see
there.
the top of his head doing that? But, like peeking out from over the desk. But yeah, man, meditation has been pretty big in my life.
We were just talking to Anthony about that earlier, about just how some people think it's so easy. Oh, just sit with your thoughts for 20 minutes. And it's
It's
so hard for
So
people,
hard.
especially in these days where we're just so used to content and things in your mind. And a big part of meditation is just always be able to reset. And in my opinion, just know, okay, I'm back in the present moment. And, like, because your mind wants to wander. It wants to go, oh, I got to follow this, figure this problem. I got to go here. And you got to just reset. Well, stay in the moment, brother. We got to breathe, taking that breath. And, because it's like it said, where our minds are just constantly going, especially people that got that fire in their bellies and they kind of want to solve it. But it's so important to have those quiet moments, dude. And so thank you for sharing. I love that story. Is there
the 20 minutes is so hard. 20
It
minutes.
is.
In my brain, I'm like, oh God, people are seeing me out there. And then as soon as you have that thought, you got to recenter. You got to be like,
yes, you got to constantly recenter.
Soham means I am that.
Got you.
It's an old mantra, and so when you repeat it, I am that I am. I am that I am. So that mantra, you can go on YouTube, and like what I do is I just go on YouTube and pick a Soham,
like a meditation,
and do it for 20 minutes.
Love that, dude. Soham. I'm gonna have to check that one out. I am what I am that I am. I am that I am, guys. Is there a tool or an app in your business that helps you succeed, or something you really like using right now?
Well, dude, I mean, I have to say Handwrytten. But,
Handwrytten, baby. Let's plug it, baby. Let's plug the app. It's making it easy for you guys to write notes at scale. And we'll put that in the show notes too.
Y, Handwrytten. But Zapier is so big with us. And then we use Pipedrive a lot. We use something called Persist IQ for sending email campaigns.
Oh, okay.
If you go on handwrytten.com and go to the resources tab, you could find our outbound marketing playbook, which talks through all our tools that we use.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Those are kind of the big ones. Those are the big ones. And now Microsoft Teams.
Teams, baby.
Yeah, like we like it more than Slack and Zoom and all that, because like you can have people in your, for one, it's free because we're paying for the Office thing, so it's included in all that.
Right.
But you just pop on meetings like nothing. So it's pretty neat.
It's easier to get connected, I think. They're making it easier to get connected and not like, send the link and download the app and all these things that you need on some of the platforms. Love that, dude. Love that. If you could sit down to a steak dinner with anyone in the world today, who are you going to sit down with? Who are you going to chop it up with tonight?
I mean, I'm sure you get a million of this, but Elon Musk.
Elon, baby, my dude, the flamethrower. I always say the best thing you could ever do, guys, is if he ever IPOs SpaceX, is buy it. Because he said he's not going to IPO it because of the type of business. But I've always liked investing in great entrepreneurs. And if that gentleman IPOs any other company, I would say, buy it. I promise you.
Exactly. Right.
He's now doing these crazy NFTs, and he's just an incredible gentleman. Got a few mutual friends that have either had on the show and also very humbled amongst a lot of the success. A very much humbled person. A lot of people don't think that, but he actually is. Is there a book that you either reread or something that sticks at your soul and heart?
Yeah, actually, this comes from your guest, Kim Addis, which it's The E-Myth by Michael Gerber.
Oh, I love that book, dude. Michael Gerber.
I have it at home. Yeah, man, that book. So the whole idea, for those that haven't read it, if you'll listen, it's just, as an entrepreneur, you should work on the business instead of working in the business. And he takes you through the example of a pie baker. The whole reason you open up your own pie shop is because you love baking pies. But now that you're the owner of the pie shop, the last thing you should be doing is making pies. You should be hiring bakers and, coming up with marketing and all that other stuff. So that book has been huge. Little things in that book, like setting up your business as a franchise, even though you never plan on franchising it, but defining roles and responsibilities, building processes, all that stuff has been really, really good. So man, it's an easy read. If your readers are looking for something easy to pound through in like 1 or 2 days, E-Myth by Michael Gerber.
And tactical too. You can literally take some of those things and start implementing today, guys. Today. Love that. Where is your favorite place to hang out online? Is it LinkedIn? Do you have a favorite place to hang out on social or hang out online?
Well, obviously I'm on LinkedIn and Twitter. We have all these Zapier things that let us know when people tweet about us and stuff like that. So we're always responding. personally, I like Reddit.
Yeah, Reddit. That's awesome.
I love Reddit just to
see what the world's talking about.
Stuff. Yeah, there's a couple cool like growth marketers groups and stuff like that on Reddit where you can get a lot of good tips, and you meet some crazy cool people on Reddit. So yeah, I really like Reddit a lot.
Love that, dude.
What about you, man?
No, my favorite social network? I would say
as a social guy. So.
As a social guy, it's probably still Instagram right now. I would say overall, Clubhouse has been one that we're kind of still exploring. It's just I don't have time, dude, to sit there and sit in conversations for hours and sit and talk and this and that.
I hear
sounds
you, man.
good, but it's like, it sounds cool, but
I don't know how to navigate it. I've tuned in for like 3 minutes. I have 2 salespeople that are using it a lot, and they said they've been quote unquote brought onto stage.
Yes, right. So they're able to talk and stuff, right?
I don't know who has the time for that. I don't know.
I think you have to pick and choose your battles, guys. I think that, that's the thing about anything in life, right? My favorite thing to do right now is just to be a podcast host. I really am enjoying the journey after even doing this for 9 years. I feel like we're still just at our pinnacle of continual being on bigger and bigger guests. And I love learning from guests like yourself that are just doing incredible things for the world. And I always say you're still in the beginning because, dude, the world's full of abundance. Every single country in the world needs a little handwritten in their lives, in their language. And I only can imagine that you're going to be helping empower those entrepreneurs there to, stuff the envelopes and do all those tasks that we got to get done to make the process happen, man. So you have built an incredible business, man. And
thank you.
I just love it, man. I love entrepreneurs like yourself that are able to do it, scale it, and are not willing to put in the work too. You're putting in the work every day, and I think it's gonna be a beautiful continual journey for you, man. So thank you, and shout out to you, my man.
Thanks,
and also
Travis.
the best place for people to find it, Handwrytten on .com or on your favorite app. We'll put that in the show notes as well, guys. That is with a Y, Handwrytten with the Y. But folks, you've been hanging out with David Wachs and Travis, Too Tall and Huff. We want to thank you again for your time today, and let's keep being real. Boom! We did it, boss.